How's it going, everybody? This is Phil, and unfortunately, this is a sad day for fans of Star Wars, of course, fans of the original trilogy, and people who are big fans of the character of Boba Fett. Jeremy Bulloch, the man who played the infamous bounty hunter underneath the mask, has passed away. Very sad news indeed, and this comes on the heels of David Prowse, Darth Vader himself, passing away just a few weeks ago as well. We're getting to that point now with a lot of these original trilogy actors and actresses and people who worked on the movie behind the camera. They're leaving us. Gary Kurtz passed away. Carrie Fisher is gone. It's a sad thing that unfortunately, as these movies become 40, 50 years old, these wonderfully talented people who helped to fuel a generation of imaginations will be leaving us. And I think, one of the best things that we can do is just honor them and remember them fondly and, tell stories of how they inspired us and led us down a path to being creative and admiring their work and things that they had done also as well outside of Star Wars. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article. This is over on IndieWire.com. The authors here is that's Ryan Latanzio and Christian Blauvelt. So let's get started here. It says Boba Fett actor Jeremy Bulloch from the original Star Wars films dies at the age of 75. Reports have emerged from the Star Wars community that Jeremy Bulloch, the actor who originated the iconic Star Wars bounty hunter Boba Fett in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, has died. The retired English actor was 75. The news was first announced on fan site Fantatrax following a Facebook post by UK-based convention organizer Jason Griffiths, a friend of Bulloch's. While Bulloch remains best known as the actor behind the suit in the second two films of the original trilogy, he also cameoed in other Star Wars properties, including in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith as Captain Colton, a Clone Wars-era pilot with a long record of service in the Royal House of Alderaan. The actor got his start on TV shows such as Billy Bunter in Greyfriars School and The Newcomers, and though he wore the original Boba Fett costume, giving the bounty hunter an eerie stillness that implied more menace than was ever actually demonstrated on screen, his role was voiced by Jason Wingreen, ironically having passed away also in the month of December 5 years ago in 2015. Fett was the first Mandalorian character introduced in the saga, and the idea that you might not often see under his helmet comes from him. In the updated versions of the original films, Wingreen was dubbed over by Temuera Morrisons, who now plays Boba Fett on Disney Plus's The Mandalorian series. Bulloch, in his only non-masked appearance in the original films, was also cast as an Imperial officer, identified eventually as Lieutenant Shekel in The Empire Strikes Back. So for those of you who don't know, that was the scene in The Empire Strikes Back where Luke has made his way to Cloud City to help rescue his friends, and then a firefight ensues with the Imperials who are escorting Boba Fett back to his ship Slave One, with Han Solo, who has been frozen in carbonite. And as Leia is screaming to Luke, it's a trap, it's a trap, Jeremy Bulloch is one of the Imperial guards who actually has her by her arm, and he's shuffling her off screen. So to play the mostly silent Boba Fett, Bulloch drew inspiration from Clint Eastwood's stoic Man with No Name, the antihero from Sergio Leone's Dollar trilogy. It is a performance of remarkable physicality despite the character's limited screen time. His slow gait, enhanced with the sound of spurs via Foley, and of course that's from the great Ben Burt, and deliberate turns of his helmet gave the effect of a villain who's remarkably controlled. And that's true. I mean, when you go back and you watch The Empire Strikes Back, and just the way that Boba Fett moves, it's always with purpose. It always seems like he's calculated. It always seems like he's 3 or 4 steps ahead of anybody else that's in the room. And there is a real eerie kind of stoic sense of this character kind of picking you apart before anything even happens. And it's a physical performance that helps to define that character for a whole generation before we even got to Temuera Morrisons, finally now playing him on screen in The Mandalorian and being just vicious and brutal. he was really characterized by Jeremy Bulloch's physical performance in the original trilogy, especially in The Empire Strikes Back. And that physical performance and the way that Boba Fett moves and the way that he carries himself, you could see that Temuera Morrison is emulating that now in The Mandalorian. I mean, you see that in the latest episode when he's getting off as Slave One, the way that he carries his gun, just the way that he carries himself in general. It's definitely an homage to The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the way that Jeremy Bulloch just kind of moved about on screen. And it's nice to see, actually. I really appreciate that. You don't need to see the violence he could mete out. Simply knowing he's capable of it is good enough. And exactly. And that's what they were able to get across. And really a limited amount of screen time in that original trilogy, especially in The Empire Strikes Back. Bulloch also had roles in James Bond classics such as For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and The Spy Who Loved Me. Octopussy. His last on-screen appearance was in the 2015 documentary Elstree 1976 about the making of the 1977 Star Wars. This news comes less than 3 weeks after the death of David Prowse, who played Darth Vader in the original Star Wars movies. Bulloch and Prowse were indicative of what a phenomenon Star Wars became, that unknown British actors called upon for roles that required them to be completely covered under a mask and armor ended up as fan convention superstars commanding autograph fees. Bulloch's death follows the introduction of Fett as a force to be reckoned with on The Mandalorian 2 weeks ago. Played by Morrison, who also portrayed Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, he finally unleashed the explosive violence that had only been left to viewers' imaginations since Bulloch's tantalizing first appearance as the character 40 years earlier. Without Bulloch and Prowse showing how expressive an actor could be behind a mask, it's doubtful The Mandalorian would be possible. So that's it. And unfortunately, again, it's sad to see these stars, these legacy characters, the actors who portrayed the characters passing on. It is, of course, a natural part of life, and there'll be more to follow, unfortunately. And again, we can only do our part by, as fans, honoring the performances that they gave us and remembering them fondly. If anybody's, of course, met Jeremy Bulloch at any kind of a convention, from what I understand, and I've never had the pleasure, that he was a very personable, friendly gentleman who really enjoyed meeting with fans. I've read stories online, and it just seemed like he was a really great guy. I know a couple of years ago he wasn't feeling well and took himself off the circuit, as far as I understand. And, you just hope that he would go on and live a nice part of the latter half of his life and just kind of relax and take it easy. And unfortunately, we find ourselves here today just mourning his passing and remembering the guy behind the mask. I think it's kind of ironic that Boba Fett has been, in a sense, reborn in The Mandalorian, and here we are losing Jeremy Bulloch just a matter of a few weeks later. Anyway, that's all I got on this, guys. Unfortunately, I wish it was a different video, but as a fan of the character, obviously, on my channel, there's there's a lot of influence just on my logo, and obviously I'm a big fan of The Mandalorian. I felt like I just needed to mention something and say a few kind words about Jeremy Bulloch, and he will be missed within the fan community. So let me know how you feel down below. Has anybody out there that's gonna watch this video, I'm curious to know, have you ever had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Bulloch at a convention, and has he signed anything for you? Do you have something that he was able to sign, an autograph or a piece of memorabilia that is in your collection? I'd be really interested in knowing. As always, guys, thank you for coming here and watching these videos. It's always appreciated. Please be sure to like and comment down below. Subscribe if this is your first time here, and I'll get back to you sometime soon. We have the season finale of The Mandalorian coming up, so I'll be getting that video up sometime this weekend. As always, be happy, be safe, be healthy. Mr. Bulloch, may you rest in peace, sir. Thank you for everything. I will talk to you guys sometime soon. Bye-bye.